Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship, which we always refer to as BUF. We're so glad you chose to join us here today, in person or via Zoom. I'm Tom Nicholas, and I'm serving as the celebrant for today's service, which will be led by Bonnie Phinney, longtime member of BUF. And my pronouns are he and him. Please check out the announcements in the order of service. You can read them there for yourself, but I just want to highlight that there's going to be a dinner on Thanksgiving Day in the social hall that's being organized by Mark Allen. Mark, are you? Mark's not here. Mark's almost always here, so I'm surprised. Anyway, Mark is organizing it, and if you have any questions, ask Mark. And if you don't know who Mark is, ask somebody to point him out. Yeah. There will be a turkey provided, but everyone who goes, we ask that you bring a side dish. Also, after the service today, Felice Davis is going to be leading a building and safety tour. So if you're interested in that, please check with Felice after the service. And also, downstairs in the social hall, there's a BUF history wall that is up that gives you a view of the history of BUF and invites you to use the history of BUF to envision what you think the future of BUF might be like. And now, Lynn Skavdal, the president of our board, has an important message to share.
Okay, that's pretty funny, man. Yeah. Right, there you go. Good morning. My pronouns are she, her. And as Tom said, I'm still Lynn. Most of you know that for the last several months, Michelle has not been in the office during the daytime. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the many people who have been covering. It's been there's a lot of us, and it's been a steep learning curve. And the upside of that is that we have learned that it is very important for more than one person to know how to order the toilet paper. Among other things, like making copies of the order of service, and it goes on and on and on. I had no idea. For months I would answer, I'm still doing this, I answer the phone. I work really hard to say, Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship, how can I help you, rather than Wilderness Information Center, how can I help you? Which was the first thing that almost came out. But usually I don't know how to help them, and so I'm learning a lot, and it's helpful. The sad news is that Michelle is going to resign as our administrator. And I have a letter to read to explain more about that, but I wanted to start with saying that she will remain as our bookkeeper. It's a part-time job, and she will work in the evenings. So less visible job, but she's still with us. And the HR team will be, Michelle worked with Sunny and Patricia to work on a job description that works to separate the bookkeeper and the administrator, which we used to do before we piled it all on one person. Anyway, the HR is going to begin that hiring search shortly. So there is an end in sight to the craziness in the office. Although we're still going to keep volunteering because, toilet paper. So I want to read this letter this from Michelle. And if you get a chance, on, text or email or writing her something to thank her, that would be wonderful. Okay, from Michelle. As we enter into this upcoming holiday season, so many things run through our minds. Preparation for sharing time with family and friends, anticipation of arrivals of loved ones we haven't seen in a while, the expectations we hold for traditions and events, concern for our fellow mankind who has not shared in our prosperity, and gratitude for our personal success, however you choose to define that. This holiday season is also a time of reflecting for me. Time to reflect on all the things I am so grateful for. And you all are one of the main blessings I am so very grateful for, which makes my decision to reduce my role at Buff so difficult. Because of family needs that I am also grateful to prioritize, I will be stepping down as the congregation administrator and assume the role as the bookkeeper on a part-time schedule consisting of Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday evenings. Serving as your administrator for these last 2 years has been a true honor and a pleasure. Getting to know such wonderful, generous, passionate, giving, and welcoming individuals has been life-changing in a time in my life when you were most needed. I have come to love and appreciate each and every one of you in your own way. I will miss working in the same capacity with you, but this is not goodbye, but instead just a reduced interaction to focus on family and health. Thank you to everyone for every opportunity you've provided me. I am so grateful for each one, while I look forward to new opportunities to interact with you in a slightly different role. Sincerely, Michelle Fox. So more announcements to come in the coming days. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Before we go any further into the service today, which falls on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, I want to acknowledge that we're meeting today on the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin throughout the San Juan Islands and the North Cascades watershed from time immemorial. Let's just take a moment to visualize this territory. The view of Mount Baker from Artist Point or Park Butte, those towering cliffs on one side of Fragrance Lake, the view from what is now Bellingham out to all those islands and the passages between them, and the view from Mount Constitution, what we now call Mount Constitution, down to Bellingham, which seems so close from there. Our service today is about gratitude, so please join me in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for our indigenous neighbors, the Lummi Nation and Nooksack tribe, for their enduring care and protection of these shared lands and waterways. And I want my saying this not to be something that's rote and we just skip through it to the rest of the service. I want it to be an invitation to you and to myself to acknowledge and to sit with the complicated history of this region that everyone sitting here in this room right now is a part of. And now, let's settle into our time together by listening to Melanie play Bartók's Hungarian peasant songs.
Thank you, Melanie. My name is Bonnie Phinney. I'm happy to be up here. I'm a member of Buff for about 13 years now. Thanksgiving is too important to be reserved for one special day out of the year. Every day ought to be a celebration of Thanksgiving. For every day, there is much for which we can give thanks. Here is a poem from Gerald Manley Hopkins with which you might be familiar. His language may not be your language, but he has an important message to send, a message of inclusiveness and thanksgiving. Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple color as brinded cow, for rose moles all in stipple upon trout that swim, fresh fire coal chestnut falls, finch's wings, landscape plotted and pieced, fold, fallow, plow, and all trades, their gear and tackle trim. All things counter, original, spare, strange. Whatever is fickle, freckled, who knows how, with swift, slow, sweet, sour, dazzle, dim. He fathers forth whose beauty is past change. Praise him. In a time of upheaval, division, fear, and doubt, what lasts? What endures? Gratitude. Thanksgiving isn't just a day. It's a process. May we all have a happy Thanksgiving today, Thursday, and throughout the days that come. And now, please join Carrie and Tom in singing "Oh, We Give Thanks." This is a call and response, and you may stand as you are able, please.
Wendy's joining us.
Oh, we give thanks.
Oh, we give thanks.
On this day. I practiced this thing so many times. Oh, we give thanks.
Oh, we give thanks.
On this precious day.
For this precious day.
For our gathered here. Let us far away. For the time we share. With love and care. Oh, we give thanks.
Oh, we give thanks.
For this precious day.
For this precious day.
We give thanks.
Oh, we give thanks.
For this precious day.
For this precious day.
For our gathered here.
Gathered here.
Let us far away.
Far away.
For this time we share.
For the time we share.
With love and care.
Love and care.
We give thanks.
Oh, we give thanks.
For this precious day.
For this precious day.
Oh, we give thanks.
Oh, we give thanks.
For this precious day.
For this precious day.
For our gathered here.
Gathered here.
Let us far away.
Far away.
For this time we share.
For the time we share.
With love and care.
Love and care.
We give thanks.
Oh, we give thanks.
For this precious day.
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 Being grateful comes from realizing that you are receiving a gift. The gift might come from the sharp edge of the knife that is cutting your bread for you. Or it might be the invitation to say some words at the Sunday service. Or it might be that certain feeling in the air on sunny days in September or October that tells you that time is on the move, that fall is here and winter is on the way. So gratitude comes from noticing and from opening yourself to what you notice so that you can receive it. And receiving it might change you. Gratitude is a way of connecting with the world. Right now, at this moment, as Bonnie lights the chalice, I am grateful. I am grateful for the attention you are giving to me and the opportunity it creates for us to connect. Thank you. And now, please join Bonnie and me in saying our covenant. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service gives it life. Celebrating our diversity and joined by a quest for truth, we work for peace and honor all creation. This is our covenant.
It's time for all our young friends to come up to the rug. If you're not here already, I've got a story for you. My name is Liz Epperson. I'm the Religious Education Coordinator here at Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship. And when I tell this story, I want you guys to remember that the theme for today's service is gratitude, because I might have a question for you partway through. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, good. All right, everybody, thanks for coming up. This story is called Thankful Dogs, and I have a little dog friend here to help tell the story. Can I pass him around? You guys want to? Okay. All right. Once there was, and once there was not, a family of dogs. Like many dog families, there were dogs that had wandered off the street, and dogs with fine pedigrees, and dogs from the shelter, and dogs who had been born into the family. They ran together. They played together. They tumbled together in great furry masses of tails and snouts and paws. They loved each other very much, even if sometimes they growled at each other. Even if sometimes they worried about enough biscuits from the tin on the counter, even if some dog didn't feel good and snapped at another dog, they still loved each other very much. Each night as the moon rose, the family of dogs went outside and sat in a great circle on the soft grass and watched the moon come up. And they'd look into each other's eyes, and they'd wag their tails. It was a doggy thing to do. Then, when the moon was a dog's tail above the horizon, the eldest dog would bay loudly at the moon. What do you think that dog was baying about? You guys have any ideas? Okay, I heard cool stuff. I heard they were thankful. I think you guys are right. The eldest dog was telling the other dogs and the moon and the whole world what he was thankful for. He was baying, "Thank you for this day, for the running and the jumping. Thank you for the biscuits and the tasty treats. Thank you, little brown dog, for nosing the ball my way. Thanks for being able to sing. Thanks for this and everything." What do you think you guys would bay at the moon at the end of the day? I was thinking about that little dog nosing the ball. Do you guys ever have a friend who helps you? You're like hanging out with your friends and they do something nice?
Our dog noses the ball too when he gets tired.
Oh, Tristan said his dog noses the ball when he gets tired. Well, the dogs are just saying all the things they're grateful for that day. Then the youngest dog would point her nose to the moon and begin to bay, and she was saying, "Thank you, wonderful sun that warmed my back. Thank you, fragrant flowers so sweet. Thank you, pack of dogs, for wiggly dances. Thanks for the ringing ice cream truck. Thanks for this and all my luck." Then one dog after another would join the baying. Do you guys think you could do a little like soulful baying? Not loud screaming baying. You guys want to try it? You pretend you're a doggy? Let's hear it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do you guys think that was beautiful? That was beautiful. But they saved the best for last and howled together. Thank you, Mother, and thank you, Father. Thank you, sister, and thank you, brother. Thank you, neighbor, and thank you, friend. Thank you, stranger, and thank you, world. We share our thanks for every being, whether near or far, no matter who, no matter where, no matter what you are. Thanks. They did this no matter what the weather, no matter how many or how few of the family was home, no matter how they felt. The dog family gathered together each and every night to greet the moon and share their thanks. So let's share their circle of gratitude. Can you guys, I know the kids can repeat after me. I think the grown-ups can too. Thank you, Mother, and thank you, Father.
Thank you, Mother, and thank you, Father.
Thank you, sister, and thank you, brother.
Thank you, sister, and thank you, brother.
Thank you, neighbor, thank you, friend.
Thank you, neighbor, thank you, friend.
Thank you, stranger, thank you, world.
Thank you, stranger, thank you, world.
We share our thanks for every being, whether near or far.
We share our thanks for every being, whether near or far.
No matter who, no matter where, no matter what you are, thanks.
No matter who, no matter where, no matter what you are, thanks.
And that was by Naomi King. We are going to sing our kids up now.
And now we're going to hear from the choir.
Way down. Okay. Wow, that gives us a lot of energy, doesn't it? Lou and I have been taking a class this fall at our senior center called Aging Mastery. And our first lesson was on cultivating the habit of gratitude. This month's Chalice Circle theme is nurturing gratitude. I think the universe was trying to tell me something. Maybe, just maybe, it was time to pull out an old sermon that I have modified and given over the years on giving thanks. I did not write today's sermon. It was written originally by Forrest Church, a beloved UU minister who passed away in 2009. It means a great deal to me for reasons I will share with you later. I have taken the liberty of changing words here and there to fit our own context and, of course, my own experiences. But his message remains intact. I hope this sermon will speak to you as it has to me, and I am grateful to share it with you this morning. Prayer is not a word I use often, nor is it heard often among Unitarian Universalists. But think about it. When we used to write letters, do any of you write letters anymore? A few of you? When we used to write letters, we almost invariably began with a prayer. It may have been a prayer of petition. Dear Mary, greetings from Washington. I hope this letter finds you well. Or, Dear Barbara, forgive me for not dropping by last Tuesday, as I promised. Or perhaps, Dear Sandy, I am writing for your advice about something. Each of these openings, though stylized, is roughly analogous to a form of a prayer of petition for another's health, for forgiveness, or for advice, perhaps. Of course, not all letters or emails nowadays begin with a petition. Most of mine, in fact, begin with a confession. Think about Christmas cards, the ones I used to send all the time. I might have written something like this to a long-lost friend. Dear Marilyn, you must hate me. I cannot tell you how embarrassed I am to have not written you after your last letter. I hope your life has been less harried than mine. Does that ring a bell to anybody? It's a prayer of confession. Finally, besides the prayer of petition and the prayer of confession, there is the prayer of thanksgiving. I know I tried to teach my daughters when they were young how to write this kind of letter. It might have gone something like this. Dear Grandma, thank you for the teddy bear. Mommy made me write this letter. I wonder sometimes if parents are still trying to teach this art of writing thank you notes. Good luck. The practice of opening one's letters with a prayer is not a new phenomenon, although with the internet, it may be a dying one. Records show that they go back to ancient time. For instance, Egyptian and Greek papyri contain explicit prayers, not like the implicit ones we use today, but explicit prayers. Almost every scrap of correspondence that historians and archaeologists have discovered opens with a kind of prayer, a petitionary prayer often for the health of another. Ramses himself may have received just such a letter, and it might have gone something like this. Dear Ramses, I pray that the gods bless you with good health. You owe me a cow. Now, and this is what this has all been leading up to, enter the Christian Paul. Paul's letters in the New Testament are in many ways remarkable. not so much for what they say as in how it is said. What is extraordinary is what Paul does to the prayer following the salutation. For one thing, irrespective of the specific purpose for writing, in almost every instance, it is a prayer of thanksgiving. For another, it is often inordinately long, which indicates the great importance that Paul must have placed on it. It usually begins, "I give thanks to God, always for you." Note, please, that he does not say, "I give thanks to you for something," but rather, "I give thanks to God for you." While we may disagree with his theology, we would do well to appreciate the implications of his letter-writing technique. This coming week, we here in America celebrate Thanksgiving. Family, football, shopping, turkey, way too much turkey, parades, friends, all coalesce to mark above all else the beginning of a special season. From now until New Year's, there's a festive spirit in the air, twinkling lights and alluring aromas, tinkling bells and crisp, bracing days, and up here, rain. And throughout, there is the symbol of the gift, gifts of food and company and presents to be shared with one another. What is often forgotten, however, may be the most important gift of all, the gift of life itself. In the larger sense, whether or not we think we have reason to be thankful for that gift of life from our parents, unexpected and undeserved, we all have much reason to be thankful. It is within this context that this sermon means so much to me. Over 40 years ago, on Thanksgiving weekend, I gave a version of this sermon to our very small fellowship in Panama City, Florida, when my parents happened to be visiting from California. I had the rare opportunity, one which many of us have but seldom take, to thank them for my life. At that time, I didn't know that my father would die within the next 9 months. I am so grateful that I had the ability and the opportunity to say the things that I did when I did. This sermon, therefore, will always hold a very special place in my heart. Do you remember that poem I read at the beginning, in the opening words? If you can understand the flowery language, you may have noticed just how inclusive this little poetic prayer of Hopkins was. All of life is hinted at within. Glory be to God, not just for good things, but for dappled things. Not for things swift, but for things swift and slow. Not for things just sweet, but for things sweet and sour. Not only for some things, but for all things, even things fickle and freckled, counter-original, spare, and strange. There is nothing selective here. And not, returning to Paul for a moment, it's not a case of I thank you for some gift that you have given or some kindness that you have shown, but I thank God for you. Earl Holt, a one-time UU minister, wrote, "The essence of a true gift is that it is not earned. It is not something deserved. So that in giving thanks, we are not giving a kind of retribution or repayment. It is instead an acknowledgement, not of indebtedness, but the recognition of having received something unearned, unasked for, unrepayable. A recognition that can perhaps only be expressed in praise." For whatever else you might think of the Pilgrims, we must acknowledge that the Pilgrims knew and lived by a simple biblical injunction. For everything, give thanks. They teach us to recognize that so much more than we realize or admit comes to us for no reason that we can possibly understand, even life itself. In giving thanks, we give expression to the fact that we do not get what we deserve in life, which for some of us is probably a really good thing. No, we do not get what we deserve in life. We get much, much more. Thank you, Melanie. You gave me a chance for another drink of water. Thanksgiving, whenever we celebrate it, in the very deepest sense, is a loving token of fidelity to all that lies beyond our human power to affect or change. It is an expression not of obligation, but of appreciation, not of guilt, but of gratitude. By acknowledging the receipt of undeserved gifts in our lives are rendered sacred. When we give thanks, we surrender or sacrifice our own importance or power to something greater than ourselves. This sentiment, wrote Forrest Church, is not alien to liberal religious tradition. Should it ever become so, he said, it would be a great shame. It doesn't matter what we name that mystery. To many, it is named God. You and I may prefer different terminology. What matters is that we not name ourselves, that we remember to give thanks for everything. So today, I would like to share with you some of my own thankfuls. First, I give thanks to you, Lou, my husband of over 53 years, for our arguments as well as our laughter, for your patience and impatience, for the delight and bother of living together day by day, for all that we have shared together, as well as the moments that we might just as soon forget, for loving me as I am, and probably hating me sometimes as I am, for all that you are and are not. I give thanks. I thank God for you. And I give thanks for medical science, for 2 new hips for Lou, so that he can once again keep up with me when we hike. And for 5 eye surgeries over the years that have given me the gift of better sight, real and symbolic. What I see is that there is so much in this world we take for granted. Our health, our resources, our friends, our families, our freedoms. It is not until we begin to lose them that we can truly appreciate them. So I thank God for all those undeserved treasures in life. Love, beauty, the changing seasons, peace, freedom, friendship, kindness. And the longer I live, the more aware I become of our limited period of existence. Time, therefore, has taken on a much greater value in my life. I am thankful for having been granted that time, for the opportunity to have watched our daughters become strong women and loving parents themselves, and to watch our grandchildren grow and embrace the world around them and bring us both delight and pain, and pride and concern, laughter and tears sometimes. I pray that I am granted more time to watch them grow into adults. And finally, Lou, you've heard me say this before, but I think the first time I said it, it was a surprise. I give thanks for having been a military spouse. I give thanks for all those miserable separations they put us through, because they helped me to appreciate the time that we had together. And I am thankful for all the moves. They taught me to be more flexible and gave me a chance to experience other cultures and different parts of the world. And I am thankful for all my lost friends, for you can't lose something that you never found. What I gained from those friendships over the years far outweighs what I have lost. In conclusion, I give thanks for the Pacific Northwest and the incredible beauty that we enjoy here, for the friendships that we've developed here at Buff and in our hometown of Anacortes, and even for the rain, because I appreciate sunny days so much more than I did in Colorado when we had 300 of them a year. My friends, as we head into the hurried holiday season, I hope you will stop for a moment and give thanks. Put mundane concerns aside briefly and consider those things in your life that make life truly worth living. And then, be sure to share your thankfuls with others. This is your gift to brighten another person's day. And now, you actually have the opportunity to share your thankfuls in what we might call, I think Carrie calls this an air poem. We're gonna ask a question, and you can just yell out your answers like popcorn. So, Tom, first question.
Who are you grateful for?
Bonnie. Mom.
What are you thankful for this past year?
Travel.
What are you grateful for today?
Just today.
Very light traffic coming.
Thankful. We're all thankful, and thank you for sharing those thankfuls, and continue to share those thankfuls with your friends and family in the coming days.
And now we're going to sing hymn number 128 in the gray hymnal, For All That Is Our Life. Yeah, please stand. This is our life. We sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build a common good.
morning. Thank you. It's Kevin. Thank you, Bonnie, for that profound message. And thank you, Melanie, for playing Bartok, one of the most famous Unitarians of all time. I'm Kevin, and I'm promoting our special collection today for our partner church in Myers-Sovat, Transylvania. You notice this beautiful handmade banner hanging here that was gifted to us. You can see about 20 or 30 Transylvanian women sitting together, sewing this for days and days, and just come up and feel it sometime. I picture us putting a bunch of long tables together and stretching this tablecloth out in one piece and having a big Transylvanian feast. Our partner church committee has been carrying the partnership now for a few years under the leadership of Rika Zoltan and George Bohr, members of this group who speak Hungarian and are now suffering a little bit from their health, but still very much with us, and I'll talk to them this afternoon to share everything. Thanks to them and to the other members of the committee, who at this time are Barbara and Ron Quinn, Jan Krauskop, Lisa Moss, Carl Nyblade, Jane Ronka Washburn, Bev Smith, and Allegra Ziffel. Thanks to all of you. We could use some newer, maybe younger members too. So please see me if you're interested. Last week we talked about our deep roots of partnership, and today we're talking about our vibrant future. So I'm going to read to you a message from Reverend Ellard Search, the new 31-year-old minister in Myers-Savad. I've actually collated 3 different messages from him and paraphrased them a bit, but these are his points, and he writes in English. Hi, Kevin and Bellingham Unitarians. My name is Ellard Search. I became the pastor in Myers-Savad in 2024, following the retirement of Tomasz, who served here for 30 years. And I think you saw a picture of Tomasz and his late wife, Kato, there. I enjoy sports, and I'm encouraging our local youth to be active. We organize folk dancing, we play football, we go for a run. I have some plans for Myers-Savad for the immediate future. One, that our temple, our Unitarian church here, be the official sponsor for a youth dance troupe. The pictures you see, those are Myers-Savad kids, but I think they are for the whole town, and I think that he wants to really base them at their church. Also, I'd like to organize film and culture evenings for the village. And while they're still alive, I want to interview our eldest members, especially those who are still farming and living in the traditional way. Thanks, Bellingham, for your support of our partnership all these years. We've always used your monetary support to restore, renovate our ancient buildings. This last year, we renovated the minister's house. So thank you for that. I was able to move into a more comfortable place. Since you asked, we do have an immediate project you could help us with, and that is to put in modern restrooms in our social hall. I believe when your group was here in 2017, we still had a outhouse out back, and actually that's all we still have. So, yeah, thanks if you can help us with that. Our medieval church, which was built in the 1300s, always needs repair, and you've been helping us with that too. I hope there will be opportunities soon for me and my congregation to meet people from Bellingham again in person. We appreciate the partnership, but I'm hoping this is just the beginning of a more active connection. Thank you, Ellard Search. So now back to me. Our committee and Reverend Sunny Joy and I and many of you I know already treasure this long-term partnership, and we look forward to pumping it up Here are 3 ideas we can kick around. We could have a partner church Sunday that is more interactive, where we're actually sharing video now, and it's easy to email back and forth, and Ellard speaks English. And we kind of do some service where all of us get to experience their vibe personally, you know? If that works, we could make it an annual thing. It's easy to sing their music, and they can sing our music, you know? We can have their food and meals and stuff like that. 2, since we went there with the choir, I have thought, wouldn't it be nice if all the Unitarians around this area from BC and Western Washington could collaborate and host a choir festival, music and dance, where we bring a guest conductor from there. And it would just, you know, if we all pitch in with Bremerton and Bellevue and Vancouver, and it wouldn't cost us much to bring this person. And then we could host it here in Bellingham because we're centrally located. And the third idea is that we have another group trip, but maybe 2, that are youth-centered, helping us build our youth programs, which is important in both places, going back and forth. And Liz Epperson and Gina and Lisa Moss and others we're already thinking about how to do this, okay? So those are kind of big, long-term things. If anybody wants to ask me about any of this, or the members of the committee, look for us at the coffee hour. So here's the pitch. We've been sending money to Meyer Savat for about 30 years, and lately we've been averaging about $1,500 total per year, which used to go a long ways, but not so much. You know, Romania is joining the modern world and doesn't go very far. So I'd ask you to be generous today. Think about the money is only a starting point, a small part of our relationship, and that as we give them help like that, we're thinking they've given us so much. So many of us have traveled there. And they have the time and the appreciation and the energy to do more active things with us. So let's look for that as we help them out today. We've had this partnership since 1992. And I think we enter partnerships with resolve and commitment. I want us to be steadfast and true. I want us to think globally, but act locally, because we are going to help real people with their real needs here. So thank you very much for your gift today. The ushers are going to come forward. Anything you put in the basket today goes to Meyer Savat, unless you designate otherwise. And now some more Bartok. Christenum.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. Those are words from the hymn we just sang, and in this service we have spoken and sung and given our thanks. Gratitude is a part of my regular morning practice, and not just because Oprah says to do it or mindfulness experts extol its many benefits, but because more than anything, if I am able to do my gratitude sincerely and authentically for me, I notice that it actually shifts my energy, it changes my mental state, and lifts my spirits. But I'm not always able to do that. Closing words are no place to open a can of worms, but as we approach Thanksgiving this week on Thursday, November 27th, I do want to acknowledge the complexity and nuance of celebrating this holiday, a holiday that for some is full of warmth and community like we experience today here, but for others it is colder and lonelier. It is a holiday that gives us a good excuse to come together with those we love, both here and afar, and practice gratitude. And it is a holiday that also gives us a good excuse to acknowledge some of the darker aspects of our history as a nation. As Maya Salam wrote in a 2017 article in the New York Times, Thanksgiving facts and Thanksgiving myths have blended together for years like so much gravy and mashed potatoes. And separating them is just as complicated. So, for those for whom gratitude is hard to access right now, for those for whom this holiday represents something less than joyful, and for those for whom singing thanks and praise for all that is your life is difficult right now, we see you. You are welcome at this table. Today is one of those days where, thankfully, I am able to access gratitude and connect with it fully. So in keeping with Bonnie and Tom's lovely prompts during the Litany of Thankfuls, today I am grateful for the opportunity to be with you as your minister. I am grateful to be doing work that for the first time in my life feels like a calling. And I am grateful to be doing this work in this congregation at Buff. When I look back at the last year, I am grateful for getting to attend and graduate from divinity school in midlife. I am grateful that Buff was still looking for a minister by the time I returned to the Pacific Northwest in July. And I am grateful you all gave me a chance to begin my ministry here. As I anticipate the year to come, I am grateful for the ideas and suggestions you all have given me around what you would like to see at Buff. I am grateful for the potentials and possibilities that lie ahead for us, and I am grateful for the gift of life, which I do believe we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. And now, as Tom extinguishes our chalice, I affirm that we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now it is time to circle round for freedom in our final song.